Hooty hoo, all my stock market gamblers. Welcome today. It's Friday. Made it to the end of the week. What do we got going on in the markets, though? They're having a down day. Dow's down about 650 points. Nasdaq's down about 350 points. Why are they down? Well, Fed Chairman Powell just finished his speech at the Jackson Hole meeting. Well, apparently he didn't say things that investors wanted to hear. He says he's going to continue to raise rates until inflation comes down. Well, that may be true, may not be true. I actually don't think he will continue to raise rates until inflation comes down. I don't think he has the stomach for that. Look, he has $100 million net worth. He wants to hold on to his money. If he continues to raise rates, he'll create a depression. We're in a recession. If he continues to raise the rates, the markets will crash, stock market, housing market, and we'll go into a depression. All right, now let's say he lowers rates. What happens? Well, if he lowers rates and continues the printing of money, we'll go into hyperinflation, and this will make the debt go away. We'll hyperinflate it away. But once again, his $100 million, that will be, it'll be devalued, right? He'll lose his purchasing power of his $100 million. So he's kind of between a rock and a hard place. He doesn't know what to do. He really doesn't. But he's going to probably reverse course, and my guess will be that he will inflate the debt away. That will be his plan. I don't think he has the stomach to cause a Great Depression, and that's what will be caused. It's the moment of truth for the United States. Those are the two choices. Maybe you leave a comment. Would you rather have hyperinflation, or would you rather have another Great Depression? I mean, if you know a third alternative, I guess we can muddle along and maybe kick the can down the road, but I don't think we can kick the can down the road very much longer. I think you're going to get one or the other. You're either going to get hyperinflation or you're going to get the Great Depression. Leave me a comment what one you think is going to happen. Now, it is shocking to me that it seems we're going into hyperinflation is what's going to happen because we continue to print money that we don't have. I mean, it's amazing to me that one man can wake up and he can spend $500 billion of your money and my money. He did that by wiping out the, student loan debt. Okay, $10,000 per person of student loan debt gets wiped out. $500 billion. We don't vote on that. It was just his decision. I don't think he has that power to do that. The court system will decide what happens there. We'll see. But there's a lot of moment of truth coming. Will we hit that hyperinflation? Will we go into the Great Depression? Will we kick the can farther down the road? I think we're running out of road. That's what I think. That's just my personal opinion. You may have a different opinion. My opinion is also that the market is going to continue to come in. Now, next week we may get a bounce up, and they may try to make another attempt to run up to reach the 200-day moving average and see if they can break through that. I don't think they can. I think we've seen the top, and I think the market's going to come in. I think September is going to be a very nasty month for the stock market. We'll see how that all plays out. Let's move over to the real estate market. Now, you really can't make this up. I was reading an article on Redfin that kind of gave me a little bit of a chuckle. It said that the sellers are getting cold feet because they're waiting for the Fed to lower interest rates on mortgages. They're not selling their house because they think that the Fed's going to lower the interest rates and interest rates are going to come back down, so their house is going to go back up. Now, I had a good laugh at that. I thought that was funny until one of my clients told me that's exactly what he's going to do. He moved out here from Dallas, Texas. Now, in Dallas, he has a house. He was going to sell his house and buy one out here, but he can't buy one out here because he can't get his house in Dallas, Texas sold. Well, in Dallas, Texas, the house prices are already starting to come down. Now, he wants to get the price that Billy Bob got. Everybody wants to get the price Billy Bob got because Billy Bob sold at the top. But he can't do that. The prices are coming down, and he doesn't want to sell at these low prices. So he's holding off. He's got cold feet. He doesn't want to put his house on the market. And that just cracks me up. I think that's a very wrong move. I think we're going to see houses come much lower. Now, a lot of you think they're going to go back up. He would be one that thinks they're going to go back up. I totally disagree. Just my opinion. You got your opinion, and that's my opinion. Let's talk about the rental market. Now, the rental market, okay, we've at a record high in the rental market. But what's fascinating about that is we've hit a record high every month for the last 17 months. Now, the average rent in the United States has reached approximately $1,900 a month. $1,900 $1,000 a month. And a lot of people can't afford this. A lot of the millennials, they can't afford this rent. So they're not paying the rent. Do you realize 8 million people are not paying their rent right now? Now, to me, that's incredible that 8 million people cannot pay their rent. And we just continue to let them live there. When I was in real estate as a property manager, we would do this thing called an eviction. You don't pay your rent, we evict you. Today, you don't pay your rent. Well, and maybe it's like a student loan. You don't have to pay it back. It's all going to be okay. But okay, so anyways, you got a lot of people not paying their rent. Well, what if we start making these people pay their rent? Well, they can't afford it, so they're going to move out of these houses. They're going to move out of these apartments, and these are going to become vacant. Okay, so you got these vacant places. Now, where are the people going to go? Well, maybe a lot of them move back home with their parents. That's a possibility. Maybe they move in with the roommates, have 6, 7, 8 people living in the house. Maybe they do that, what's it called? Car camping. Maybe they just camp out in their car. You know, those YouTube people that are car campers, their views, they get so many views. It's incredible. People love to hear about car campers. It's funny to me. It cracks me up. But okay, so I'm not sure where they're going to go, but let's say that 8 million units come available for rent. Well, there's not 8 million people out there to fill these units at the prices they're asking. So what's going to happen to the price they're asking? Well, they're going to reduce it, right? When things get back to normal, the price of rents will come down, but you got to have people starting to pay their rent or they have to move out. That's just the way it should work. That's the way it used to work, but that's not the way it works today. No. We are in this socialism time in our country. I really don't understand it, but that's what a lot of people want, I guess. That's the way the future might go. We'll see how that plays out also. I'll tell you a couple of stories here. All right, so I got this good friend. His name's Dragon. I don't know. It's strange name to me, but his name is Dragon, and his daughter is in medical school in New York City. She has an apartment in New York City. She was paying $3,100 a month, right? Well, anyway, she gets this notice that they're raising her rent this year to $4,800. Now, she was going to stay in this apartment all through medical school, but her dad is paying the bills, and he doesn't want to pay $4,800 when it was just $3,100, so he flies out to New York to look for an apartment. Well, in New York, it's very hard to find an apartment. It's hard to get anyone to even show you an apartment without giving your whole personal life history away first. And then once they do, there'll be 50 other people looking at the apartments. To make a long story short, so anyways, they raised the rent from $3,100 to $4,800. Now, that was for a one-bedroom. Anyways, the long story short, they ended up renting a one-bedroom for a studio, excuse me. So she reduced from a one-bedroom down to a studio. She was paying $3,100. Now she's at $3,400 for a studio, which in New York City, I guess, is a pretty good deal. The average in New York City is $4,100 a month. And in New York City, there's actually, about 9 out of 10 are paying. So 10% of the people are not paying their rent because they can't afford it. Now, let's compare New York City to San Francisco. I have this other friend. His name's Alex, and he moved from the San Jose up to San Francisco to get an apartment. Now, he got a 2-bedroom apartment for $3,800, and he got 1 month free rent. So it's a little better than $3,800. But with a roommate, he's at paying $1,900 a month, a little bit for utilities, and he's $2,000 a month, and he can afford that. He can afford that because he's got a good job, and he lives up in the city now, up in San Francisco. But I do believe that rents are going to come down. Now, why do I believe that? I believe that there's going to be this tidal wave of evictions. When you got 8 million people not paying rent, you're going to have to start to kick some of them out, and these places are going to become available once they kick them out, repaint them, clean them up, and then new people will move in, people that can afford to pay that much rent. But most people cannot afford to pay that much rent, so I don't think they have enough people that can afford the rent, so the prices will start to come down. So that's good news if you're a renter, but 17 months in a row, new record high. Very interesting, very interesting. And they're also building. They're building apartments like crazy, building. Over 1 million of them, close to 1.5 million new apartments coming onto the marketplace. At these high rents, they want to get these apartments done so that they can collect this rent money. This is good rent money, right? Well, that's what they're doing. They're building them. So you got 1.5 million coming that way, the new apartments coming onto the market, and you got 8 million people that aren't paying their rent that are probably going to be evicted in this, what I call an eviction tidal wave. We'll see how this all plays out. Hopefully you like this talk. If you did like it, give me a thumbs up. You really like it, punch that subscribe button, because next week is going to be exciting also. Look at today, the stock market's fascinating. Let's go back to that for 1 second. The stock market, when the Fed started talking, the market was about flat, right? Fed Chairman Powell starts his speech, starts dropping like a rock, and it dropped and dropped and dropped. And he ended his speech, and everybody clapped, and everybody said, right on, right on. Okay, and then the market went all the way back to positive. And then people started to, they started to digest what he said. And they go, oh my God, he's going to continue to raise rates. So it just fell off a cliff today, down about 650 on the Dow, right? But they could pump this up. The plunge protection team can come in at the end here. People think the plunge protection team's not real. Google it. It's very real. It's a real thing. The Federal Reserve has a trading desk. They can pump this up if they want. Now, they might let it fall for a little bit, let the market adjust, let it all play out. That's what they do. But the plunge protection team might come in later today. But next week, if the plunge protection team doesn't come in today, maybe they come in next week, make a run up at that 200-day moving average before the market comes in. This market's going to come in. Look, a lot of people say we got this election coming up, and I understand that. We got an election coming up. September's going to be nasty in the market. Going to come down, but they still got October and November to prop it up for the election. The big crash probably not coming till next year. Might be coming early next year. This is the worst start of the stock market since 1972, and January through June, the biggest drop it's been since 1972. Well, wait until 2023. This drop this year going to look really small to the drop that's coming in 2023. Just my opinion. I'm Tall Mike. Get out there. Have a great weekend, everybody. We'll talk again real soon. Bye-bye now.